What I meant to say was good morning, Vietnam. This is my video about Life is Strange, where I discuss theories and that sort of thing, because that's the kind of thing that makes you popular and have friends on the internet. So here we go. First off, I wanted to talk about who I think maybe that the kidnapper or killer or whoever of Rachel Amber might be. I wanted to talk about Samuel first. I don't think Samuel is involved at all. I think Samuel's just like autistic or has schizophrenia or something. Like, a lot of people are like, oh man, Samuel, red flag right there, and I'm just like, no, not really. Your neurotypical ass is conditioned to like believe the worst of anyone you see is neurodivergent, so you probably shouldn't trust your first instincts with that when it comes to Samuel. Samuel's kinda actually a cool guy once you start like actually listening to him for what he's saying, instead of just like looking at him and saying like, oh, there's a character with a mental disorder, let's not pay any attention to what he has to say. So Samuel's a cool guy, want to put that on the table. Also wanted to talk about Mr. Jefferson. I don't think he's involved either. He could be. The bit where Kate talks about like a white room and like that could be a photography studio, and apparently, I haven't looked into it, but apparently like the photographs of scantily clad women around campus are supposed to be his pictures. I haven't looked into that personally, but I don't know, I feel like that's just photography, and maybe he is an old pervert, but you know, it's a private school. What private school teacher isn't an old pervert? Also, just a quick tip, my audio is gonna be weird because I keep turning my head to the side to think about maybe what I could be saying wrong. Anyway, so I mean, like, Jefferson teaches photography, right? Like, there's more than one photographer, excuse me, at Blackwell, so it's like, you know, it could have been a photography studio, but Jefferson wasn't that popular of a photographer. He was quite minor, as I understand. And so I don't think he would have his own studio, especially not one where he could like go in and drug and sexually assault women. Like, I'm not gonna pretend that I'm an expert at that sort of thing, because I'm definitely not, but like, in order to, like, Jefferson is pretty famous. He says about a minute after saying, you know, Jefferson wasn't that famous. Like, he's still in the public eye, but not to the point where he makes a lot of money and can afford his own studio. And so I think even if he could, it would probably be, you know, someone would probably notice after a while that, you know, Mark Jefferson, the famous photographer, keeps bringing underage girls to his studio and they're unconscious. So I feel like maybe there would be some sign of that, like in the newspapers or something, which I don't think you can read in the game. So I think Mark Jefferson is probably like not that bad. He has nice hair. Like, I'm inclined to believe him based solely on that he takes care of his hair and he dresses quite nicely, even though he doesn't really dress like a teacher. Jefferson reminds me of a teacher that I have in media. I'm taking a media course because I'm a delinquent who smokes the Mary Jane and wants an easy A. But excuse me. Yeah, I don't know. Jefferson seems pretty cool to me, even though he's a little bit weird. Again, that could just be like, that could be a neurodivergence thing. Maybe Jefferson is autistic, maybe he's got Asperger's. He has enough special interests to justify looking into it further. I would suggest that. We just passed 4 minutes and 20 seconds. I wanted to celebrate that. Here's what I think is... I should stir my rice. I'm doing this as I'm making more rice because I love me a good bit of rice. This theory video is gonna go on forever. I'm gonna never stop editing this. Okay, so who do I think is implicitly involved? Nathan, probably. Like, Nathan Prescott seems like the most likely person to be, like, a person who sexually assaults women. He's, I don't know, is he in Jefferson's photography class? He might be, but he's also the richest, so he probably owns his own studio if he wants, if he's interested in that sort of thing. And like, he and Victoria are basically married, so I'm pretty sure that she's at least interested in it. Like, to the point where he would be like, "Hey babe, I got you this studio for your birthday," and Victoria would be like, "Nathan, why is there blood all over the ground?" And Victoria would be like, "Oh shit." And then that whole business with Chloe is probably related to that. "Babe, why is there blood everywhere?" Babe, is that an arm? Oh my god, would you believe that? Could you believe it? If just Victoria, like, gets her own studio and she's so excited, and then all of a sudden there's like an arm and he's like, "Babe, listen, that's not mine." Like, he's not even immediately concerned that it's a severed arm, he's just concerned with being like, "Listen, babe, I'm not bringing any other girls here, don't worry about it." And Victoria is like, "Babe, that's a severed arm. Like, we don't, if that's real, then we have bigger issues than you potentially bringing other girls here." And Nathan Prescott's just like, "No, it's a man's arm, don't worry about it." And Victoria's like, "Okay, I'm sorry." Because I think, as another thing I wanted to talk about, I think that relationship is probably abusive just because of the way that Nathan Prescott is. Like, I feel like he probably is... Is he on the football team? I can't remember. I feel maybe he is. Is he? I can't remember. This isn't scripted. This is me talking about my Life is Strange theories. And making rice for my dad, who is also a weeaboo. No, yeah. I kind of lost it when I talked about the severed arm. Abusive relationship, that's where I was going with that. Yeah, I think that relationship, either Victoria's like blackmailed into it, or otherwise, like, there's a shitty situation going on, because I don't believe Victoria to be all that bad, which is a stupid thing to believe, especially if you chose to bully her in the first episode. But I feel like there's gonna be some, like, redemption arc in the next 3 episodes. Even though she is mean to Max, like, she probably something there. Like, maybe they're gay for each other. That's not true. I don't think Victoria is gay. Just based on the way that she conducts herself, I feel like she goes to, like, anti-gay rallies. And, like, I mean, like, I'm not for that, just based on the fact that, I mean, I don't even like Victoria that much. I don't know why I'm defending her. Yeah, anyway, after that, we can talk about the whole thing with time travel, which is the main plot point of the game that I forget about all the time because there's just so much else to talk about. So I'm gonna go with, maybe we'll talk about that in the next episode of Life is Strange Theories. Oh man, it's a cliffhanger. He's still really sick. He's gonna talk to a doctor soon, don't worry. I think that's about it. Nathan Prescott. Maybe his dad is involved, I don't know. Dads tend to be, like, old perverts as well. Not my dad, though. My dad is just a weirdo who really likes rice. And ribs, and steak, and stuff like that. And getting divorces. What? Ha! Get it? Because it's like my dad's had, like, 4 divorces, and I think 2 is probably too many. So, like, 1 I can understand. It's one of those things where it's like, Okay, yeah, you made a shitty decision as a kid, and you're grown up now, and you understand the ramifications of your actions, and so maybe one divorce is like, okay, yeah, you know what? I feel like that's reasonable, but after the second one, you're kind of like, okay, you keep making this mistake, you should probably choose carefully for your next like mate, buddy, pal, your next husband or wife, depending on your sexuality, or not even, maybe either, depending on your sexuality. I'm not saying, you know, I've never heard of like a gay divorce, which is something I wanted to bring up, but not in this video. I'm just going on here, and it's crazy. It's just crazy. Tip your waitresses. I don't think Samuel or Mark Jefferson are implicit in the murder/kidnapping/rape of Rachel Amber. I think, no, yeah, I tip your waitresses. Bye, asshole.